ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with the second episode of the CWC.
Damn,
here,
back at it again with the CWC.
Here on the Wrestling Rundown, episode 110. Cruiserweight Classic just continues to be awesome.
Yeah.
We had another 4 fantastic matches, getting ever so closer to the second round. So let's go ahead and kick it off. We had WWE Elite, WWE alumni Tajiri.
I borderline go and call him a legend.
All right, WWE legend Tajiri.
Especially if you're classifying it to the cruiserweight division.
Very true.
You know, a former, I think multiple-time cruiserweight champion.
At least twice, yeah.
And a former tag team champion of WWE.
There you go. He would be taking on relative unknown Damian Slater. This is someone that we knew very little about. Mostly, we got our information from the profile that was put on WWE.com, and this guy came to play.
Yeah, he's just, I don't want to say brash, but very confident.
Confident, yes. Confident. He knows what he's capable of, and he's not afraid to show it.
Yeah, confident, despite knowing he's the underdog going into this tournament, because he definitely, out of all the guys in the tournament, is not one of the longest tenured wrestlers. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but he does have all the tools to be successful. And even despite knowing that his first round opponent is Tajiri, is still confident in thinking that he will come out the winner of this match.
Well, and he stated in his little preview video that he didn't want anybody having any preconceived notions of what he does, what his moves are, so they didn't have a chance to counter it. But Tajiri, having wrestled for as long as he has, was a natural fit to really take that test and really pass it, because these guys had a technical bout.
Yeah. And Tajiri, obviously, he is the most experienced wrestler out of the entire tournament. 20 plus years as a wrestler. He's 46 years old, and
still
has wrestled like everyone.
Yeah,
like
and still has it.
Yeah,
he did not miss a step in this match.
Knowing just a lot of the people, in like his WWE run that he was paired against. Or with, thinking of like a Rey Mysterio or William Regal. There's hardly a style represented in this tournament that would be foreign to Tajiri.
Yeah, no, he has so much in his repertoire and so many different things that he's had to face, that he can counteract whatever style he really wants.
Yeah, and the match started out super duper technical.
Yeah.
With Damian Slater actually constantly being on the up and up against Tajiri.
Yes.
Until at one point he gets Tajiri in a wrist lock, and Tajiri just decided to whap him in the face.
Yeah.
And that was like the real first time you saw like Tajiri go, okay, maybe I did underestimate him a little bit. And now I have to bring the game.
Yeah, yeah. Cause, Tajiri started playing with you, like he stepped through the ropes to get out of a hammer lock, and he did a little things, but yeah, that first strike was really okay. I see what you came to do, but I'm prepared to stop that in its tracks.
Yeah.
And then then they both started targeting limbs. We had the left arm of Damian Slater, I think the left leg of Tajiri. Just trying to counteract what the two of them were able to do, and then it just became of who can take out the limb faster and really put their opponent down.
Yeah, at one point they even started doing a kick exchange where they were kicking each other at the same time.
Yeah.
And Tajiri's right leg coming up and kicking Damian in the left arm, while Damian was using his right leg to kick Tajiri in the leg.
Yeah.
So there's a fun little moment that is a very unique. I don't think I've seen that in a WWE style match before.
Yeah, no, they definitely brought their own flavor to it, and then it was just one of the most perfectly placed kicks from Tajiri. This straight back kick to Slater's face.
Back thrust kick caught him flush, right on the chin.
Followed quickly by the
The buzzsaw kick?
I'll tell you. It was the back handspring that set up, buzzsaw kick. Tajiri moves on to the second round, and he will face Grand Metalik in the second round.
So now we have 2 second-round matches set and ready to go.
That's going to be a fantastic match. Following up, we had 2 young. We got one young tenured guy in T.J. Perkins taking on a young guy in Damac, who is a very charismatic.
Very charismatic, very flamboyant, very another confident guy.
And quickly accepted by the crowd.
Yeah. Everyone thought he was hot and spicy.
Well, that's what his ass said.
Would you go on the limb out enough to say that T.J. Perkins would be a grizzled young vet?
He is a grizzled young vet. I mean, he's been wrestling for 18 years.
He's been wrestling for, you hear a lot of people say they've been wrestling for most of their adult life. I'm pretty sure T.J. Perkins has been wrestling now more of his life than he has been not wrestling.
Yeah, because he started when he was
13.
13.
When he started.
So I think he's 30. Yeah, he's 31. So he's been wrestling for 18 years, and I mean it shows. It shows in what he does.
Yeah. Everything seems so second nature to him.
Yeah. He doesn't struggle with anything in the ring.
All the moves, the fluidity, the fact that it was like watching, how we talked about how spot on every movement that Kota Ibushi did.
Yes.
Wherever he was jumping somewhere, his feet always landed right where he needed them to be. Nothing was ever out of place. It's the same thing, and it was the in-ring game was as natural to T.J. Perkins as walking or breathing.
And Damac on the other side, still very precise in what he does, but his style is very unorthodox.
Yeah, unorthodox, and the fact that being a TJP is still also a fairly young fella as far as some wrestlers are concerned. But it was one of those things that it became very evident that Damac didn't have near the experience of TJ Perkins.
No. Yeah, no, Damac, I think, had a couple, I think he had a misstep or two, but nothing severe that really, hindered the match at all.
Yeah.
It was just, some things didn't quite pay off the way he wanted them to. His first palm strike looked a little, he knew what he was going for, and TJP tried to give it to him, it just didn't quite connect as well. The second time around he did it, it was way better.
Yeah, he threw his first palm strike like an uppercut.
Yeah, it's just straight up. And so, it was a very interesting battle with 2 very fast-paced guys. This was a very quick, spot-heavy match.
Yeah, and I think another thing that goes to in favor of T.J. Perkins' experience in this match is that one of the biggest detriments to the Mac as far as his offense was concerned is that he would frequently stop to survey the crowd or react to the crowd. And he had a lot of those moments where he would have been a lot more likely to beat T.J. Perkins if he wouldn't have that pause between every kind of time they would start chanting for him or, but again, it's also probably a really surreal experience for a lot of these wrestlers to have that size of a crowd, maybe for the first time in their entire careers, and people actually cheering for them, in big numbers.
Well, and I think
that could make them a little starstruck.
I think just the idea of knowing that, oh my God, I'm on WWE programming is a big thing for a lot of these guys. Coming from little indie promotions.
The Mac is in one of the most prominent indie promotions in Germany, WXW.
Yeah.
But still, it's one of those things that it's just being on WWE is kind of the end game for probably 90% of people who get in wrestling.
They're in the wrestling. They're in the wrestling heaven. They're in the wrestling. I can't think of the word. They're where every wrestler really strives to be.
Like the Hollywood of wrestling.
Yeah,
or
it's one of those things that I can't even imagine being anywhere close to that. So the fact that they're getting to do that, obviously, the Mac really wanted to make an impression. He did. He definitely didn't slouch by any stretch of the imagination, but neither did TJP, who eventually just went on this fast-paced onslaught where he just hit the Mac with everything, knees and elbows and just all kinds of stuff, and then capped it off with a victory roll into a figure 4 knee bar, getting the Mac to tap out. And this is after the Mac actually went for a top rope move and tweaked his knee on the way down.
Yeah, which was another one of those like slight errors because he completely connected with the jumping kick from the top rope.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact that he landed hard on his knee gave TJ Perkins the target.
Yeah. So TJP will move on to the second round, and I do believe he'll face the winner of Gargano and Ciampa, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
I'll double check. Go ahead and get us set up for Lindsay versus Mustafa.
Yeah.
Double check the bracket.
So Lindsay Dorado, Puerto Rican luchador,
Yes.
extraordinaire, very, very agile and accurate. Mustafa Ali, very. Here's where I'll say brash.
Yo, yeah.
Very brash, very confident. Not to the point of annoying, but to the point of where you can definitely tell he might be getting ahead of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because he used the one phrase that he said that I don't think there's anybody on the list of wrestlers in the tournament that I couldn't beat.
Yeah, he's put himself really high up there.
It's counting your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah.
But
he didn't take into consideration who he was facing, apparently.
for being a stand-in,
You're also a what he said.
yeah, for being a stand-in, he outperformed a lot of the guys we've seen before so far.
He was fantastic.
Both of these guys, extremely aerial. This has been the first time we've had really the match where both of these guys' highlight style is aerial wrestling.
Yeah, they went very lucha in this match.
And so you saw a lot of flips. Lindsay had a great combo where he did a triangle drop kick on the outside and then did the Asai moonsault to the floor.
Well, that was he did the triangle drop kick and that backed Mustafa off, and then he did the head scissors off the apron.
Yeah,
and so then went up and then hit
a big three-part combo.
It was insane. And then like Daniel Bryan really mentioned it. Like after they get back in, Mustafa kicks out of just this amazing run that Lindsay goes off of, and it's like, how did he kick out of all of these just high impact, just perfectly executed moves?
Yeah, and it showed a lot of tenacity out of Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
He ended up missing, though, 2 big aerial moves, and I think that's kind of where him and Lindsay differed a little bit. Is like almost every big of the big aerial moves with Lindsay was like spot on where he landed, but he did a moonsault early on in the match and landed completely flat.
Ow!
And then towards the end of the match, he went for one of his signature moves, which is an inverted 450 splash.
This was, though, after he hit a fantastic springboard into a Spanish fly.
Yes.
Which set up Lindsay, but then the attempt at a second very innovative move, missing the inverted 450, allowed Lindsay to go to the top and hit an unbelievably beautiful shooting star press, and Lindsay Dorado now moves on to the second round.
Yeah, can we just have like a shooting star press Olympics? Have all like the cruiserweights get in and show off their shooting star presses and see who's like the best.
Well, I feel if we do something like that, Lindsay Dorado and Matt Sydal are just going to go for days. It's going to come down to those two, and it's going to be who's going to give first. I don't know who it would be. Then we capped off the night with Akira Tozawa taking on who the hell is this guy, Kenneth Johnson.
Yeah, Kenneth Johnson, definitely, just from the visual aspect, is going to have the size advantage on just about any other person he'd wrestle.
Very tall.
Because he's tall, which would give him a reach advantage and a lot more leverage on most of his opponents.
Also, he's one of the most plain-looking, plain-talking kind of guys.
Yeah, I like that Daniel Bryan told a story about him during the match,
Yes.
though, about the fact that he had a speech impediment the first time he tried out to be a WWE superstar.
Yeah.
And WWE said, we like what you've got, but, part of the superstar package is being able to talk.
Yes.
To be a promo guy. Be able to, say stuff on television without tripping over your words and without stuttering. And they said, come back when you've got your problem fixed. And he basically busted his ass for 6 months to come back and try again.
Yeah.
With, being able to cut a 3-minute long promo without stuttering a single time.
Yeah. So, he's had that chance. WWE obviously sees something in him. And I mean, he probably had the weakest performance, I think, so far, but still had some very impressive moments. But he was in there against the monster.
Yeah. Akira Tozawa is just, as far as the guys who are in the tournament or who are left in the tournament, is definitely one of the more violent strikers / throwers of the tournament. He is very high energy, and the crowd really likes his style, but it's like he really doesn't care too much about that, and it's more fight to win with him, like mentality. And you see that a lot because it's very, a lot of forearms, lots of submission holds that are unique and painful. He had that seated abdominal stretch where then he started to stand up with it.
Yeah,
and
lifting Kenneth up with him. The one thing I noticed about Akira, especially in this match, is he kind of elevates his game. Like, he starts off and kind of tests the waters, and then as he sees, okay, this isn't going to work, he steps it up, and then he steps it up, and he keeps stepping up until he knows, okay, this is what I got to do, this is what's going to get me the win.
Yeah.
And I noticed that because Kenneth had a very good ability to counteract and come back at Akira.
Yeah, and that was one of the most impressive things about him is how well he hung in with, one of the master students from the Dragon Gate Dojo.
Yeah.
And one of the head guys over there. One of the most popular guys from the promotion.
Yeah.
And one of the top Japanese stars that's not a New Japan guy.
Yeah. And so it came down to a point where Akira really had to just go as vicious and as hard as he possibly could, and this first German, I don't even remember what, he just kind of ducked out of the way of something.
He ducked out of the way of a clothesline and used the momentum of spinning around to grab and throw at the same time.
And dropped him right on the back of his fucking head. And then, if that wasn't enough, he set up for a second one, made Kenneth Johnson think about it.
Yeah, he picked him up deadlift off the ground, and then carried him half the length of the ring before dropping him, so he knew he would be planted right in the middle.
Yeah, there was no way to get to the ropes.
Yeah, I think that's a smart thing against Kenneth Johnson, because he has extremely long arms and legs, so close to the ropes would be a very bad, almost rookie mistake for Tozawa to make.
Yeah. So Tozawa hits, makes him think about it, hits the second German, beautiful bridge, 1, 2, 3. Akira Tozawa moves on to the second round.
Yeah, and he's going to face the winner of Jack Gallagher versus Fabian Eichner.
Yes. Another fantastic episode of the Cruiserweight Classic. It just keeps getting better. And
we got the preview for next week.
Next week, I know you're excited because most of your boys are in this part.
Some of my top favorites here.
We have Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Tyson Dux. We have Drew Gulak taking on Harv Sira, Anthony Bennett versus Tony Nese, and Raul Mendoza versus the Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Brian Kendrick's at in his game, because we've had the first veteran of the tournament in Tajiri show that he's still got it. Brian Kendrick still looks to be in really good shape as far as the videos and stuff they've shown of him. It's interesting that Zack Sabre Jr. is potentially, because the way they listed the matches last week is how they went down this week. So Zack Sabre Jr., who's one of the favorite picks to win the whole tournament, might be in the opening match next week.
You know, I think if he is planned to be one of those guys that's going to win it, I think maybe you start him open, then you move him to a mid, and then maybe then he ultimately becomes the main event, you'd say.
Yeah. And then this is one of the few opportunities where Tony Nese has a chance to make me his fan.
Yeah, because he doesn't like Tony Nese necessarily, but he really doesn't like Anthony Bennett.
Yeah. The dorkiness, the double glasses, the stupid tall hair.
Just doesn't work for Kevin Hawk.
No.
But that is it for our...
Which is weird, because a lot of the times I do like goofy, dorky gimmicks.
You do.
This one just bugs me.
Well, they can't all be winners. That's it for our second episode of the Cruiserweight Classic review. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Click all the links down in the description. For those of you watching this video, if you want to check out our usual reviews, that being the Indie News, Raw Review, SmackDown Rundown, and the Midweek Wrap-Up, you can find podcast versions down in the description. But if you are watching videos, which you obviously are because you're here, there's other videos up in the playlist, all of those usual reviews as per usual. But then there's this, and then at the end of the week this week, we'll be having our Battleground predictions.
Yeah.
Those are only videos that you'll get on the YouTube. You don't get those podcast versions. So be sure to check those out.
Talk to us. Comment. What was your favorite match of the night? How do you think Night 2 stacked up against Night 1?
And out of the current advanced superstars, who do you think has the best chance of moving forward?
Yeah, you've a field of...
We have 8 so far.
8 people who've advanced, and another 16 who haven't fought yet.
Yes.
So out of all the people who are still in the tournament, who do you think is good? Who's left? Do you think is going to take it? If your pick to win has been eliminated, do you have another choice? Do you have another pick? Who's second runner-up for you?
And so far, all of our guys are still in.
Yeah.
So we're
again. We didn't record predictions for this, but we did do a bit where we before the first episode we sat and we broke down the bracketology, and we were in agreement on every match basically.
Yeah. So if you want a better look at who our potential picks are, go back to episode 108 where we break down the bracketology and we give our thoughts on who are our picks to win and our dark horses to win. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.